Hi friends, welcome to Writer's Workshop. Our learning objective for today is I can use words and pictures to write about a topic. And that is exactly what we're going to do. We are going to start a new book this week, and it is over the topic of polar bears. And so we're going to use our words and our pictures to write our book over the topic of polar bears. Before we get started writing though, we've got some other things we need to do. I am going to read you this book about polar bears, and then we're going to work on our can have are chart because we're going to use this chart for our writing all week long. So this book is a National Geographic book, and it is called Polar Bears. Laura Marsh is the author. There is no illustrator since this is a nonfiction book. You're going to notice they used real photographs in this story. So right here is the table of contents. You can see right here we've got a listing of all the different things you're going to see in this book and what page you can find those on. But I'm going to go ahead and skip this because I'm going to read you the whole book. Who am I? I'm white and furry and I swim in the sea. The cold snow and ice are just right for me. Who am I? A polar bear. Big bears. Have you seen a polar bear in a zoo? Polar bears are big, really big. They are the biggest meat eaters on land. A polar bear can weigh as much as 7 men. A polar bear's body is built for the Arctic. These bears have thick fur to keep them warm. Polar bears have thick fat too. The fat keeps body heat in and keeps the Arctic cold out. And then they've got a joke. So listen to this joke. It says, how do polar bears stay cool? What do you think? It says they stay cool because they turn on bear conditioning instead of air conditioning. All right, we're gonna keep going. Powerful paws. A polar bear's paws do many things. Paws dig dens in the snow. They break the ice to find food. They also pull food out of the water. And it shows us right here, they've got long, thick, curved claws that grab food easily. They've got thick pads that keep their feet warm. They've got bumps on their foot pads that keep their bears from slipping on the ice. And their front paws are webbed like duck's feet, and that helps the polar bears to swim. When I say webbed, that means they've got like skin right here in between their toes. And the big paws keep bears from sinking into the snow. The paws are larger than a dinner plate. So tonight when you're eating dinner, look at your dinner plate, and however big it is, the polar bear's paw is bigger than that. Super swimmers. Polar bears are great swimmers. They spend a lot of time in the water. Their front paws paddle, their back legs steer, their fat helps polar bears float. What's for dinner? A polar bear eats other animals. Seals are its favorite food. This bear is hunting seals on the sea ice. Seals come up for air at holes in the ice. The bear waits and waits. Finally, a seal appears. The polar bear snatches it in a flash, which means it's really fast. Okay, here's another joke. What do polar bears eat for lunch? Ice burgers. Okay, let's keep going. Polar bears have good noses. They can smell a seal 20 miles away. Polar bears have good hearing and eyesight too. These come in handy when looking for dinner. This bear has spotted an Arctic fox. The ice melts in spring and summer. Polar bears stay with the ice when they can. They move to land when the sea ice is mostly gone. On land, they usually don't eat at all. Some bears may eat bird eggs. They may eat plants or berries, but there is not much food for polar bears on land. Bears and town. In Churchill, Canada, polar bears come to town in the fall. The ice is melting earlier each year. It is forming later too. The bears are hungry and they are looking for food. Our earth is getting warmer. There is less sea ice now. This is dangerous for polar bears and they need ice to hunt. So they're going to town because they're looking for food. Now here is 7 amazing facts about polar bears. Okay, 1, the largest polar bear ever recorded was 2,209 pounds, which is the weight of a small sports car. 2, polar bears have black skin underneath their white fur. So they're not just white. They look white, but they actually have black skin under all their fur. 3, sometimes polar bears get too hot, and then they take a swim or they roll in the snow. 4, walruses are one of the few animals that polar bears are afraid of. 5, some people go on vacations to see polar bears. They ride in special buggies to stay safe because polar bears aren't very nice to people because when they're usually around people, they're really hungry and cranky. 6, polar bears can eat 100 pounds of seal fat at one time. That's about as heavy as 400 hamburgers. 7, polar bears clean themselves by rubbing their bodies in the snow. See, there he is, taking a bath. Cute cubs. Every new polar bear is special. A mother bear has babies called cubs. She digs a den in the snow. The cubs stay safe and warm in the den. A cub drinks mother's rich milk. They grow quickly. Soon they are big enough to leave the den. And you might notice there's 2 cubs here because polar bear mommies always have 2 babies at the same time. So they're always twins. A polar bear teaches her cubs to hunt. She also teaches them how to stay safe and warm. The cubs leave their mother when they are 2 years old and they are ready to live on their own. Okay, so let me tell you this joke. Why do polar bears have fur coats? Because they look silly in jackets. That's why they've got fur coats. All right, playtime. Polar bears like to play just like you. Bears wrestle with each other, they slide in the snow, and they like to play games too. Sometimes a cub gets a ride from mom. These bears are off on an Arctic adventure. Okay, last joke. What is a polar bear's favorite breakfast? Ice Krispies. Because they can't have Rice Krispies. All right, what in the world? These pictures show up-close views of things in a polar bear's world. So we're going to use the hints to figure out what is in the pictures, okay? So look right here. What is this right there? It says it helps them find dinner. That's their nose. Do you see it? Right here. You don't have one of these. Do you know what that is? Their tail. Ooh, a polar bear's favorite food. What is that? A seal. Keeps a bear warm. Look at that. What is that called? Their fur. That's what it looks like up close. This is built for snow, ice, and water. What is that? Their paw. And then right here, the last one. Polar bears are afraid of this animal. What animal is that? A walrus. All right, friends, so I hope you enjoyed our book. I hope you learned a lot about polar bears. I'm going to take some of the things that we learned about polar bears and some of the things I already know inside my head to come over here and do this can, have, are chart. Now, you'll notice that at the very top of my chart, it says polar bears, and then I've got 3 columns, can, have, and are. So I'm going to write some things that polar bears can do over here. I'm going to write some things that polar bears have right here. And then over here, I'm going to write some things that polar bears are. Okay, and then we're going to use all 3 of these columns to help us with our book the rest of the week. So, polar bears can swim. Polar bears can hunt. Polar bears can, I'm about to keep thinking. Let me write the ones I've got. Polar bears can hunt. Polar bears can swim. I'll come back to that one. I'm going to move over here to what polar bears have. Let's see. The book told us that polar bears have fur. Polar bears have big paws. Polar bears have good eyesight. I'll write those so I don't forget. So polar bears have fur. Polar bears have big paws. Polar bears have good eyesight. Okay, let's see. I'll just come over here to R. Let's see, what are polar bears? Polar bears are bears, I could put that. Polar bears are, let's think about what they look like. They look white, but we know they're black too underneath. So I can put polar bears are black and white. Polar bears are fast. They talked about how fast they can catch a seal in the water. So let me put those things. So fast, they are bears. Not only are they bears, they talked about how they're the really big bears. Like they're as big as like 7 men. Polar bears are black. And white. Okay, let's see. I want to see if I can think of anything else to put on here. This is a good start. So let's see. Polar bears can... Let's see if my friends can help me. Miss Gardner, can you think of anything I haven't put on the chart yet? Something that a polar bear can do, or something they have, or something they are?
Polar bears can eat.
They can eat. Let's see, so
Walruses.
polar bears
not
can
walruses.
eat. We know they like seals. You know what? I just thought of something. Polar bears are afraid of walruses. Can you think of anything else, Mrs. Looper, that we could put on here?
Polar bears have thick fat that keeps them warm.
They do. Do you remember what that's called? Blubber,
Blubber,
right? So
yes.
I could put polar bears have blubber.
Polar bears can play.
Polar bears can play. That's a good one because it talked about how they like to play. All right, we've got a really good start, and if we think of anything else, we can always come back to this chart tomorrow and add more to it. So I'm going to put my marker down because I'm done with my chart for now. But I want to start on our polar bear books today. And at home, I need you to do the same thing, okay? I decided to make a big book this time just because we're going to need more room in this book, okay? So I have, let's see, I have 3 pieces of paper that I stapled together, okay, that I'm going to use for my book. And today, we are only going to do the front cover of the book. Everybody's book is about the same thing, okay? Everybody's book this week is about polar bears, all right? So there's 3 things we need on the front cover. We need our name, because we're the author, our title, and our picture, okay? So I want you to work on the front cover only of your book today. I'm going to go ahead and start on mine. Let's see. It's all about polar bears, so I could just make my title all about polar bears. All about polar bears. Okay, and now I still need my name. I'm going to put that down here at the bottom. And then I need a picture to go with my writing, and since the book is all about polar bears, it makes sense to me to have a picture of a polar bear. So, let's see. Here's his face and his ears. They've got black eyes. And they've got big black nose. There we go. There's my polar bear. All right, I'm gonna add some more color to it, but I'll do that later. I want you to get your book started. Just do the front cover of your book and make sure you take a picture of it and send it to us on Seesaw. All right, friends, we'll work on this more tomorrow. Bye.